extension of the sacrifice he came to offer on earth. He came to take a place. He came to take trouble away. He came to take pieces away. He came to take war and destructions away. He came to take death and grave away. And for him to take this away, he must go through them once and for all. All price to restore peace back to humanity has been fully paid. No demon, no devil, no principality, no power, no ruler of the darkness of this world, no spiritual wickedness in the high places can challenge humanity's access to this peaceful peace, because the price was fully paid. All sons and daughters of redemption, do not allow anything of this world to tamper with peaceful peace that was purchased for you on the cross at Calvary. When Jesus made this great proclamation, "It is finished," there was no voice to challenge him. There was no voice to tell him that John 19:30 is not a possibility. When he made that wonderful proclamation, he handed over to humanity the receipt of that price, which was so costly and expensive. John 19:30 is the receipt of our peaceful peace. Therefore, when challenged showed up, then make sure you present this receipt unto them. Sometimes someone may purchase a television, and then if he misplaces the receipt, and then security officers may show up and challenge him. If care is not taken, he will lose his television because he has lost his receipt. But if he has his receipt with him, then a security officer showed up, he will pull his receipt and then show that to the officer, and that will settle the argument, and that will make him to keep his television, and the officer that show up will leave without taking the television away from him. Believers, hold on to John 19:30. It is the receipt of your peace. When trouble knock on your door, show him your receipt. When sickness knock on your door, show him your receipt. When poverty knock on your door, show him your receipt. When delay in marriage knock on your door, show him your receipt. When delay in childbearing knock on your door, show him your receipt. When you know that job, that contract, you merited it, and they want to divert your attention, show him the receipt. When the storms of life knock on your door and it's about to drown you, show him your receipt. When affliction knock on your door, show him your receipt. When demons knock on your door, show him your receipt. When devil knock on your door, show him your receipt. When powers that be knock on the door of your life, show him your receipt. Do not allow them to dump any nonsense in your life. Do not allow them to dump any dirty things in your life. Make them to understand that you know you are right. Make them to understand that John chapter 19 verse 30 is there for you. Make them to understand that the price the master paid is for your sake. Make them to understand that he paid full price. He did not pay half payment. He was able to pay the full price of this peaceful peace. Do not allow any power. Do not allow any demons. Do not allow the situations of life to tamper with this peace that Jesus has secured for you with great price. John chapter 19:30 is the receipt of our peace. Not just peace, but peaceful peace. The peace of God in the heart of a child of God. Peace that silences troubles of life. Peace that calms the storms of life. Peace that brings calmness in the midst of troubles of life. Peace that rules over the troubles of life. Peace that command. And then the storms of life obey. You remember? John chapter 5. Let's look at it. Mark. Mark chapter 4. I read from verse 35. And the same day, when the evening was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there was also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind. And the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. Let this be the situation of your life after you leave this place. And they awake him and said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Now, look at that verse 35. And the same day, when the evening was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. When you are about to cross over onto the other side of life, sometimes they'll be threatened that want to stop you from crossing over. When you are about to marry, there will be some trouble. When you are about to graduate, there will be some storm. When you are about to do that, to enter into a new experience of life, there may be a storm that knocks at your door. That storm is not to destroy you. If you understand that there is a receipt secured for you over any storm that will ever show forth in your life. Look at Jesus. He understood what he came to life with, to give humanity. That's why I said, let this be your portion after now. Who can sleep in the midst of such life-threatening storm, if not a man that understands the place of peaceful peace in the life of an individual? Think about the way the waves were jerking up the boat, throwing it up and down, and someone was there sleeping. The story told us here that as the storm beat on the boat, the water filled the boat. Jesus was still there sleeping. That's a man that understands the place of peaceful peace in the life of a one. And he understood that the storm showing up is not to destroy him. The storm showing up is to make him to understand there is a greater manifestation out there. If you allow me, I sink you. If you stand on your right, you go over and manifest. Brothers and sisters, after now, do not allow anything to threaten your life on earth. John chapter 14 verse 27. John chapter 14 verse 27. The word of God says, peace I live with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. This is the peace that takes care of the troubles of life. This is the peace that puts fear where it belongs. This peace makes believers winners in the affairs of life. This peace is the reason believers smile all the day long. Jesus lived his peace with us, and not only that he lived it with us, he also gives us this peace. That means this peace is both in us and around us. And with this peace in our lives, greater will be your manifestations in life. With this peace, humanity will pay any price for peace. And it is being given unto us free of cost because of our union with the Master. Look at Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. And see what the scripture talk about concerning this peace that we are talking about. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do what? Will perform this. The government of the world is now upon his shoulder. This may be too much for humanity to understand. It is no more in the hand of any man to choose who governs the world. It is no more in the hand of any man to choose president for nations of the world, because the entire government of the world is now resting upon the shoulder of Jesus. Therefore, believers are no more afraid. The temple of occultism is now out of the way. They are no more the ones that decide what happens over the affairs of humanity. They are no more the ones that decide what happens in a corporate world. They are no more the ones that decide what happened in a government. They are no more the ones that decide what happened in the market. The coven of witchcraft is now out of the way. Market is free from the domination of witchcraft. Communities are free from the dominion of witchcraft. Villages are free from the dominion of witchcraft. The marine covens of the Black Sea is out of the way. The marine covens of the Blue Sea is out of the way. The marine covens of the 7 oceans where they met together is out of the way. The marine covens of the seas and rivers of this world are all out of the way. The marine covens of canals, of swamps of this world are all out of the way. The snake coven is out of the way. The crocodile coven is out of the way. The dragon coven is out of the way. The chameleon coven, they are all out of the way. The python coven, they are all out of the way. The forest coven is out of the way. The powers on the air, the powers on the land, the powers in the sea, the powers under the ground, below the sea level, are all out of the way. Why? Because the government is now resting on the shoulder of Jesus. Before this time, the government of the world derived their strength from these covens around. And that's why you see what goes on. And that's why you see the killing. And that's why you see all that happened. The price humanity paid in order to climb the seat of power. But it's no more business as usual. The man, the shoulder, that's supposed to carry the government of this world and to direct it and to order it as it's supposed to be, have taken over the government of the world, so that things will take place in it the way it should. How long will humanity suffer in pains because strangers came to the earth to destroy the earth? How long will humanity live in pains because demons and devils came and took over everything that belonged to humanity? How long will humanity lament and go to their grave on time because powers, principalities, rulers of the darkness, and the spiritual wickedness of this age are all out, becoming the ones that decide what happened to humanity. That's why Jesus came and decided to take back the government of this world to himself. It's no more business as usual. After today, that the world is witnessing this peaceful peace. There's going to be drama all over the earth. There's going to be earthquake all over the earth. There's going to be change of power all over the earth. Foundation of the earth is already shaking. Because old order is out. New order is in place. The world can no longer continue the way it has been. The peaceful peace is made possible because the entire government of the earth is now resting on the shoulder of Jesus. Therefore, all believers that are believers indeed will now enjoy peaceful peace without interruption. Peaceful peace that will enable believers to live their life without high blood pressure. Peaceful peace that will enable believers to serve their Creator with peace of mind. Peaceful peace that will enable believers not to age on time. As a result of pressure, stress of life. Peaceful peace that will enable believers to pray without distractions. Peaceful peace that will enable believers to worship the Lord from the bottom of their heart. Peaceful peace that will enable believers to live the kind of life that heaven has created them to live. Peaceful peace that force all those outside the fold to desire to come in and enjoy the kind of breeze that believers are enjoying. Peaceful peace that will make believers a reference point on earth. Peaceful peace is made possible for all believers because this wonderful God is their Father. Therefore, they are not afraid of anything on earth. Peaceful peace is believers' right because the universal counselor is their Father. That's why at any junction that life puts them to, they will receive direction from him to be able to move in a direction that will take them to where they are heading to. Peaceful peace is possible for every believer because, for all believers, because the mighty God is their Father. Therefore, they fear no one. They know that when Red Sea will show up on the highway of holiness, he will make a way for them to pass through the middle of the Red Sea without the Red Sea touching them, not to talk of drowning them. They know that when Jericho wall will show up to prevent them from moving in the right direction ordered by God, he will crash the wall of Jericho and enable them to go through the wall and enter where they are going. They know that when Amalekite will show up to stop them, to kill them, to destroy them from marching forward, he will take them out of the way by the invisible sword that will show up and destroy them. And the stone that will be thrown from heaven to take them out of the way. They know that when it appears there is no water for them to drink as they move on the highway of holiness, there's no food to eat as they move on the highway of holiness, he will make a way where there is no way by causing water to flow for their drink out from the dry rock. Peaceful peace is sure for every believer because the everlasting Father is their Father. Therefore, when the enemy shall show forth, then the enemy will stumble and fall. Peaceful peace is possible for all believers because the Prince of Peace have given them his peace. Therefore, they are not perturbed. Therefore, they are not afraid. Therefore, they keep moving on the right track that he had decided that they should move onto peaceful peace. It's an assurance for all believers that going through the affairs of life and entering heaven is sure. That's why believers will lay hold on the receipt of this peaceful peace. John 19 verse 30, as they go on the journey through the highway of holiness, because at any point in time the security officers may show forth and ask them about the receipt. It is their duty to pull it up and show any officer that wants to see the reason of this peace. John 14:27. Peace I live with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. This is a new dawn on earth for all believers. That once again we are going to have the earth where believers will no longer live in fear. The earth where believers will no longer be intimidated by the strangers that find themselves on earth, which in the original they were not designed to be on earth. This new dawn will enable believers to live on earth where demons are no longer in charge. The earth where peace will now flow as water. This is a new dawn on earth. The earth where demons and devils will no longer be in charge of the affairs of the earth, but the second Adam will now take charge of the earth in order to do what the first Adam failed to do, in order to take charge where the first Adam failed. A new dawn on earth, because the power, the authority, and dominion given to the first Adam to rule the earth, which was taken away from him, has been recovered and then handed over to the second Adam, so that he will determine what happens on earth. It is a new dawn on earth, because all believers will now be fruitful, will now multiply, they will now replenish the earth and subdue the earth. After today, let no one that claim or call himself a believer ever talk about delay in childbearing. That is over today. I said that is over today. After today, let no one that claim or call himself a believer ever talk or spend time, quality time, enough time to pray for the laborers in the field, enough time that he will have used to pray for the souls to come to the kingdom, spending it in the place of asking for marriage. No. It's your right. Do you hear what I say? It's your right. After today, you will no longer spend quality time seeking for your own Adam or your own Eve. They will show forth at the right time. And when they show forth, you will know that this is your own Adam, this is your own Eve. Time, enemy, will no longer rob you of that which belong unto you. Believers will now bounce back and live the life that the Lord have enabled them to live. They will now have dominion over the fish in the sea, over the fowl in the air, and over everything that move upon the earth. Peaceful peace is now believers' right, because the lost image and likeness of God that man was created with is now fully back in man. That is the reason of the peaceful peace. Any man, any woman, whom this image and likeness of God had not, who had not received it back into his life, cannot talk of peaceful peace. Peaceful peace, I told you, was given back in heaven, the place of holiness, the place of purity, the place of righteousness, where the image that man lost came from. The reason we're talking about this peaceful peace on earth today is because we have recovered the lost image of God in our life. And because of that image recovered, we can boldly talk about the peaceful peace, and there is nothing that will challenge us from not having the peaceful peace that belongs unto us. Peaceful peace is now possible because man is now the God of this earth. It has left the hand of the usurper. It has left the hand of the devils and demons. It has left the hands of the powers that be. It has now left the hands of the principalities and rulers of the darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in the high places. This title that God had never once given to the enemies, to the demons, to the fallen angels, but man handed it over unto them, and now fully returned back unto man. That once again man will climb the throne taken away from him at the infant stage of humanity on earth. And once we take, now that we are taking over this throne, peaceful peace is now our birthright. Man fought hard and then dethroned the arch enemy of man that dethroned him, and now man has taken back his throne. That once again all created things will now submit unto man, and then man will submit unto God. That's the essence of the peaceful peace, because things now will fall in order. Things now will have the right shape. Things now will be the way the creator in the original had in mind while creating everything that he created. It was the confusion that happened at the Garden of Eden that brought the trouble, the pains, because things went south. Nothing goes the way heaven wished them to be. And that was why peace was taken out of the way. A man entered trouble, like we told us at the earlier time of this message. You saw the confusion, you saw the trouble, you saw the anarchy, you saw the killing, you saw the premature death, you saw the kind war, you saw the bloodshed, you saw the denial, you saw the deprivation, you saw all that men went through. Every day they visit burial ground, every day they visit mortuary, every day lamentation and mourning because of what humanity were going through, because things went south. Peaceful peace is not possible for all believers, because he have recovered, man have recovered his lost holiness, lost righteousness, and lost purity. Once this is recovered, peaceful peace is a must. Peaceful peace will follow. Peaceful peace will become the birthright of anyone who lives in holiness, who lives in righteousness, who lives in purity, because this is a place where it was made to be. Heaven is a place of peace. Heaven is a place of peaceful peace, because holiness rules in heaven, because righteousness rules in heaven, because purity rules in heaven. And there is no place where you find holiness, righteousness, and purity that you cannot find peaceful peace. Listen to this. Peaceful peace is now our birthright, because we have regained holiness, righteousness, and purity. And prosperity must follow. I say must follow. Any life that claim to be in holiness, righteousness, and purity, that suffer poverty, is not the holiness, the righteousness, the purity that heaven create man with. In the original holiness and righteousness and purity of Adam, he has access to everything that life needs to make life beautiful. He has access to prosperity in his greatness. Prosperity that does not have any measure, because he was the man that had the key of the entire riches created by God. It was when he lost holiness, lost righteousness, lost purity, that poverty came in. Nobody should tell me that because he's holy. Nobody should tell me that because he's righteous. Nobody should tell me that because he's pure, that's why he suffered poverty. Then your holiness is not of God. Your righteousness is not of God. Your purity is not of God. I don't care who your teacher is. I don't care who your pastor is. I don't care who your instructor is. If you have access to holiness, to righteousness, and purity, and you are poor, ask yourself a question. Drop that nonsense you have. You don't have original holiness that come from heaven. You don't have the righteousness that come from heaven. You don't have the purity that come from heaven. We must set this record straight, because that's the deception on earth. That if you follow the highway of holiness, you will become poor. If you follow the highway of holiness, you be purity, you become poor. If you follow the highway of righteousness, you become poor. I want to challenge all the agents of occultism on earth, whoever has touched prosperity, to come and show forth. There's no courtman on earth that has seen prosperity. There's no witchcraft on earth that has seen prosperity. There's no marine agent on earth that has seen prosperity. None. It is deception, because those that claim they are servants of God, general overseers, senior apostles, prophets, and all these men in the church are themselves wicked, are themselves enemies, are themselves unrighteous, are themselves servants of the darkness that claim to be of light in the daytime. And that's why deception grows in the church. That's why deception is acceptable on earth, that if you do not branch off, you will not make it in life. That is an error. In fact, let's set it straight. There is no prosperity with the devil. Devil has nothing to offer any man. Can I say something? A man that enter court and they ask you to kill this person, kill the other person, do this, do that. They have nothing to give you. They look into your life and they see what God created you to be on earth, and they tap into it, pull it out, and out of 100% wealth that God gave to you, they corner 97 and give you only 3%. That's why you see people that are in court, they can't feed. There are plenty of them. They can't feed. They can't pay their bills. They can't do any meaningful thing on earth, because the enemy they claim to serve in order to give them wealth have nothing to give any man. Let nobody think the devil loves you, the demons loves you, the powers of darkness loves you. All you see them doing is they are looking for multiple disciples that will spend eternity with them in hellfire. And many people have been deceived to follow their path. Churches are not helping. Pastors are not helping. General overseers are not helping. Prophets are not helping. Senior apostles and pastors are not helping. They also deceive people because they themselves belongs to the night club, to the night meeting, to the occultism. And that's why many people do not believe on church anymore, because they will tell you We see those pastors, those preachers in our night meeting. So, what are you telling us? But let it be on record. Demons, devils, powers of darkness are in poverty. Wealth belongs to God. Wealth come from God. The reason why it appears that those that go to church suffers is because people that are even in the church are not what they claim they are. They deceive themselves. They are in sin but cover themselves with cassock. That's precious. They live in sin but cover themselves with garment of I'm a worker, I'm a leader in the church. Pentecostals are borrowed from the Catholics. Because the Catholics, when a reverend father is ordained to be a father, on that same day that the bishop ordained him to become a reverend father, they will give him a sacrament they call sacrament of one Latin language, Sactantios. That means any sin he will ever commit from that day forward until he leaves this earth has been forgiven before he commit the sin. And that's why you see mess in the church. That's why you see the way they live lawlessly. That's why you see a lot of atrocities being committed. Pentecostals are borrowed it. The Pentecostal pastors sleeps with people's wife. Pentecostal pastors sleeps with choir members. Pentecostal pastors sleeps with... Recently it was online, a pastor that put to bed, that impregnate a 14-year-old choir member. And you see the way they mess him up. See the way they harass him. See the way they ridicule him. Now, how could people believe? Now, I'm saying that to say, it was because of this error that make God, since after the mess of Solomon, to collect the key of wealth and took it away to himself. Because people that claim, that want to be rich, to be prospered financially, do not understand the place of holiness, righteousness, and purity. If you don't have these three natures in you, you cannot manage prosperity. You are not humble the way you claim you are until there is small money in your pockets. That's when you will know whether you are humble or not. Many people are spiritually proud. And when you tell them and say, my sister, my brother, this who you are, say me? Why are you saying this? Why are you accusing me wrongly? Wait. Let 10 million naira hit his account. The reality will show forth. And sometimes God will prefer not to lose you than giving you that money and you become lost. That's why holiness, righteousness is non-negotiable if you want to have access to prosperity. You heard what I told you while prayer was going on last week, before the ending of our 21 days prayer and fasting. Before now, we were told that no man will see wealth and be alive. Because Adam, if we see him, needs to be stoned. He plunged the entire humanity into pains. What God creates for humanity, if this number we are on earth increase by 1,000, we are over 8 billion on earth today on earth. If it increased by 1,000 and we remain on this earth in the next 1 billion years, we will not be able to touch Not to just touch what God, the wealth that God created for humanity. When we enter into that invisible land of prosperity, where the crude oil is coming from, it took us over 7,000 trillion steps to get there. And I discovered the reason why they told us no man will see it and be alive. When you get there, it's boiling as if they pour, hell on it. The thing just boiling. And while we're on the journey, get the level, the enemy will try to say, go. If you come back, welcome. If you didn't come back, you get lost over there. When I saw that, I became angry with the enemies of humanity. The Creator made all these things available. And you people blocked it because of the mess of Adam. And humanity are killing their wives, killing their husbands, killing their children, killing their moms, killing their dads, in order to have access to a little million that never be at peace to spend. Went on a journey to the land of gold. More than the oceans of the world. The land of diamond. The land of precious stone. Brothers and sisters, holiness is the key to prosper. Righteousness is the key for prosperity. I've seen the reason enemies were fighting humanity for their eyes not to open. Because if humanity eyes open, every humanity will spit on devil as the arch enemy of man. Where there is holiness, there is peaceful peace. Where there is righteousness, there is peaceful peace. Where there is purity, there is peaceful peace. Where the enemy fought hard to make sure it will not happen, have taken place on earth. Peaceful peace. Therefore, man will now enjoy peaceful peace as never before. As never before. Therefore, every one of you that is here today, I congratulate you. I said I congratulate you. I said I congratulate you. We are now going to enjoy peaceful peace that has never been so in the history of man on earth. Lucky generation you are indeed. Remain in this grace so that you will remain in this peaceful peace till you meet your master. Any step out from this grace will plunge you into trouble unbearable. Will plunge you to difficulties that cannot be solved. Will plunge you to mourning and lamentation that no clothes, not to talk of handkerchief, of this world will be enough to mop the tears that will flood your eyes. The enemy will not take it lightly with you. After hearing their shame, after hearing their ridicule, after hearing their defeat, if you slide back, they will not give you any chance of returning back. Peaceful peace is your right if you will remain. Peaceful peace will rule your life if you remain. Peaceful peace will rule your family if you remain. Peaceful peace will rule your business, the work of your hand, if you remain. Peaceful peace will be your portion every day if you remain. Peaceful peace will enable you to enjoy the glory that you were born with. Peaceful peace will give you your lost inheritance from God. Peaceful peace will make you a child of God indeed. Why the enemy fought man day and night, tooth and nail, is so that you will lose the peace of heart. And once you lose that peace, you will not be able to serve God acceptably. And that's why this battle has been fought so hard, so tough, and now heaven has won this peaceful peace. I want to encourage you to remain, because redemption has won. Redemption has silenced every other voices shouting, speaking on earth before now. As it stands now, only the voice of redemption is being heard. No sacrifice on earth with their voice ever to be heard on earth. Let them go to the ocean, let them go to the sea, let them go to the river, let them go to the canal, let them go to the desert, let them go to the forest, let them go anywhere to make any sacrifice. Let them use any blood. No sacrifice voice will ever be heard on earth. Only the voice of redemption is echoing all over the earth, because it is finished. You remember that's your receipt? It is finished. You remember that's your receipt? When sickness come knocking at your door, it is finished. When poverty come knocking at your door, it is finished. When attack come knocking at your door, it is finished. When their sickness want to claim your husband, it is finished. When your wife is about to give to birth to a baby in the hospital, it is finished. Whatever situation you find yourself, it is finished. When that child of yours that you sent to school began to mess up because of the influence of other students, remember, it is finished. It's not the time to cry. Pull up your receipt, show it to the enemy. It is finished. You have no right to touch my child. Your husband all of a sudden, what's my husband doing? He's no more looking at my direction. One person somewhere is distracting the attention of my husband. It is finished. You show that receipt to the enemy. Take your hand off my husband. Take your hands off my wife. It is finished. This is my receipt. And because of this receipt, I have no time to compete with you. Whatever you find showing forth that is not scripturally acceptable to happen in the life of a believer, pull up the receipt and tell the enemy it is. It is. When they shoot that arrow while you are sleeping in the night, when you wake up, what do you tell them? When they want to torment and to harass and to intimidate you with that ugly dream in the night, you wake up from that dream, what you tell them? When that news comes from your village and they call you on phone to break that news, after hearing what do you tell them? When that manager from the place of work call you to tell you that ugly news about your work, after he finished, what do you tell them? You enter the vehicle and you are traveling and the vehicle stumble. What do you tell the vehicle? You are in the plane and the pilot pick up microphone and began to talk what education has told him. After he finished making the announcement, what do you tell the aeroplane? Rise up on your feet. Peaceful peace. Your birthright. Peaceful peace. Your birthright. Peaceful peace. Your birthright. No devil will take that away. No demon will take that away. No enemy will take that away. Human enemy, spirit enemy, they lack the power to take it away from you. Anytime, any day, even while you are sleeping and you are unconscious. Remember, whenever you want to go to bed in the night, put your receipt in your pocket. When you are going to school, put your receipt in your pocket. When you are going to your business, put your receipt in your pocket. When you are going to market as a trader, put your receipt in your pocket. When you are going to be for that contract as a contractor, put your receipt in your pocket. When you are going for that particular thing that is so important to you, put your receipt in your pocket. You go for that interview and you believe that work we give you what you are looking for, what you have been praying for. And right there, you just put hand inside of their pocket or inside their bag, and you are talking to the receipt, and you are telling the receipt, you are telling them, I come to this place with my receipt, and I put my receipt to this company in this hall of interview, the four corners hall of this place of interview. I come with my receipt. I paste my receipt on the four corners of this hall. It is finished. This job belongs to me. Remember your receipt. When the storms of life comes knocking at your door, what do? Show them your receipt. When the enemy show up and barks like a dog, what do? Show them your receipt. At any given time, show them your receipt. The receipt of peaceful peace, purchased and fully paid for on the cross at Calvary. I've studied my scripture and I waited. I used other documentaries. I used other things, concordance. I used other translations. I want to hear the voice that challenged Jesus when he said it is finished. And that voice said, shut up, you are owing us. I never heard anyone for more than 2,000 years now. No voice has challenged him and said, Jesus, why are you deceiving the people, telling them you pay fully when you are owing us? And if they cannot be able, if they were not able to say that for more than 2,000 years, is it now they are going to challenge him? Put your receipt in your pocket and tell them it is finished. In that confusion in your marriage, remember there is a receipt in your pocket. In that situation your husband is going through, and whenever you remember that situation, anything, all the peace you have is shattered. Remember there's a receipt you will pull out to show the enemy holding your husband it is finished. In that situation your wife is going through, both of you are married and children are yet to come, pull your receipt and show the enemy. And when you are showing the enemy this rate, become mad. Sometimes when a security officer come to harass you because of what belongs to you and you have your receipt in your pocket, sometimes you lose your cool. You shout at the police officer, you shout at the security officer, why are you harassing me? Lose this my receipt. And the police officer will draw back. When the enemy come to harass you, pull your receipt onto the enemy and shout at the enemy and tell him what? It is finished. Show the enemy, and you will see the enemy will draw back. And after the enemy draw back, you will discover that your wife will conceive and give you triplets. You will discover that your husband will be healthy and bounce back. You will discover that poverty in the home will be out of the way, and prosperity will become your portion. You will discover that the storm of life that has hit the boat of the family, starting to cross over to the other side, will become calm. You're going to hear peace, be still. Remember to travel with John 19 verse 30. When they show forth, tell them. Are you going to remember it after now? Are you remembering because you are here? When you go home, take that receipt, put it inside your pocket. When you are going out, take that receipt, put inside your pocket. As a student, when you are going to a school, take that receipt, put inside your pocket. And all of you that are here, that are about to write your JAM, when you are going for that exam, take that receipt, put inside your bag. Those of you that are about to write WAEC, or you have written, take that receipt, put inside your bag. You are struggling with admission, take that receipt, put inside your bag. When you are going, tell them it is finished. Whatever course you want to study, and the mark that we give you that study is higher, and you are about to go and sit for your JAMB, take that receipt, put inside your pocket. Once you enter exam hall, put your hand inside that receipt, bring out that receipt, drop it on top of your question paper, and tell the question paper it is what? If you remember it, you are going to enjoy peaceful prayer.